Taking off in 5, 4, 3, 2. Yo, it's your boy, T. Ocean.
It's your boy O-Rain, real name, no games, no gimmicks.
It's the motherfucking Fade Podcast, the one-stop shop for everything TV, media, and film related, along with any of the goddamn thing we want to talk about, coming to you live, direct, proof of concept studios. It's a grand occasion. You know, it's always a grand occasion when...
Oh, yeah, we got the full studio.
The full studio's back in the building. You guys can't see him because I neglected to set everything up that needed to be set up, but we got our dude back. Addy plays back.
What up, Addy?
Yo. Viva la France.
Viva la France, indeed,
passport
man.
Stamped up.
What?
I said the passport is stamped up.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I was going to make a couple of trips to a couple of different countries, but, you know, I'm not Mr. International like Serge is, so I just stayed my ass in France. Shout out.
Hey, man, I'm coming for Serge, too, man. I'm trying to get them stamps like Serge is. I'm on my way.
Yeah.
I got one.
Yeah. I need to step my travel game up.
Yeah, man. Traveling is. I feel like traveling's tough. Like literally, I'm going to take a flight tomorrow. I'm going to Iowa of all places, which you know, I'm nothing against Iowa. Nothing against Iowa.
Yeah.
Just you know.
This is like a work trip?
What the fuck's in Iowa? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So,
it's a work trip. Yeah.
As long as the flight is accommodated, the hotel is taken care of, dinner's taken care of, I'll go anywhere. I don't give a fuck.
I don't know. I was telling my partner, I was telling her like, I feel, and sorry about the noise too. If you hear a fan, that's because it's hot as fuck in this room, and we refuse to not have some sort of circulation in here. So deal with the background noise. All right, I don't know what to tell you. All right. So I was telling her like, whenever it comes to like going to like these Midwest states, I always have a bit of like apprehension because I'm just like, I'm probably going to be abducted by like some Klan member at some point in time. I just know.
Don't go too far from the hotel, and do not go back to like a house party. Like if you meet some people at a bar, oh yeah, hey, we're going over like to Josh's house to like have a few drinks. Do I look crazy? Don't go.
Yeah. You might go because that's
Listen,
that's your thing.
I would not go.
Wouldn't you?
Like if I were in another country, like let's say I would be more likely to go
in another country
if I went to like a fucking Chile or something like that. And I'm in Patagonia, and some people are like, hey, we got a cabin over here. You want to come? Like I would be more.
I've got a cabin over here.
I'd be more
like every horror movie ever. What are you talking about?
I'd be more willing to go to that though than I would if like some people from Iowa were like, "Hey,
hold on. Who opens up with "We've got a cabin"? If you said
it's Patagonia,
if you said we're at the hotel, all right, maybe. You know, you say we got a cabin. No, that's a red. That's what we call a red flag.
Sure. But I'm saying like in Patagonia, it's probably just like some hikers or whatever. You know what I mean? Now,
what are you talking
in Boise, about? Patagonia is like one of the most like frequented places in the world for like outdoorsy people, right? That's why the company Patagonia. It's like a hiking. It's like hikers and campers.
How many people go missing per year in Patagonia?
Well, bear attacks and wolves. I don't probably a lot, but I would imagine the animals get some of them. Stray hikers, but I would rather do that than I would if I were in like bumfuck Idaho or Iowa somewhere, and they're like, hey, we're gonna go back to the ranch house where we're having beers. I'm like, no.
Okay, but in like, say what's a comparable place to like Baltimore? Like what's another like city that's like if you're in Chicago and somebody's like, let's go back to not the cabin, but the the trap house. All right. Would you feel as like what would you be more afraid to go back to, the place in Iowa or the place in Chicago?
I feel like Chicago, right? Being like, or any major city, like you would imagine you that like you may be able to like find help or like whatever if you're in a situation. But if you're in an area where it's like, I might be miles away from like the next neighbor. Fuck that.
There's no cell towers. You can't even get a signal out that bitch.
You got no signal. You're alone. These motherfuckers have pickup trucks and shotguns.
Oh my God, dude. And then as soon as, you know what's going to happen is you're just going to slowly start to see the reveal of, is that a Confederate flag bumper sticker you got there? Interesting. Okay.
Shit, they're bringing a lot of black jokes. I don't want to have my Uber. You're knocking the phone. Like, why isn't it working?
It's interesting. I see some. There's some wooden crosses over there. Interesting. Yeah. You guys, they're big too. They seem like you guys can
noose out. Is that a noose out on the back tree? Oh my god, yeah, that would like if for anyone who's ever been in like those situations that we see in the movies where it's like someone's at a house party and they see like things are starting to get weird, like people are bumping into me and not saying
you're missing a lot of your pillowcases. Yeah, where those go?
And then everyone has a knife and you don't. You're like, what's going on here?
Interesting. Yeah. At what point do you like panic and you're just like, I gotta get the fuck out of here? You start kicking it.
But like I feel like there are people who've maybe been in those like real life situations, right, where they're in a place and like things start to get weird for them and 100%. Them only.
Yeah.
And if you're out in the middle of nowhere,
that's not a great feeling, dude.
And you like haven't casually been training for like a marathon.
Yeah.
And you don't have the fucking lung capacity.
What is your first move?
Oh.
What do you do? What's in the survival? What kind of survival instincts kick in at that point?
Secure a weapon.
Yes, this is what I'm thinking too. Something.
If shit's getting weird and we're in the kitchen, I'm by the knives.
Yeah. What if you're not in the kitchen? What if you're just outside by the bonfire? What do you do? What do you
I'm
grab?
looking for that thing the metal
poker?
The poker to stoke the flames. I'm looking for that. Where's that? Who has that?
Okay. They just use a wooden stick. That's all they use.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not part of a bonfire, man.
I'm looking.
That's an indoor fire, but it's fine.
We're not mad at you. Position myself next to the most loved family member, right? It could be like someone where they'd be like,
to hold
wait, yes. Like the little girl, the daughter. Like,
let's stay away from that.
I'll break her fucking neck if you guys come any close.
We want this podcast to stay on.
Or like the grandma.
Breaking the necks of the daughters.
I'll kill grandma right now if you guys come any closer.
Mima. Yeah. So I think it's either that or I'm looking to. Okay, so the whole time there, I'm probably on alert the whole time. I'm on high alert, right? The whole time we're going to wherever it is. I'm assuming they have some sort of vehicle we're going in. I'm assuming we're not all Ubering into the fucking place,
and watching where they put the keys.
Exactly, where they put the keys. Are the keys still in the car? Who has the keys, right? Because after, you secure a weapon, it's like, well, it's 15 of these fucking dudes out here. I'm not going to fight them all off, right?
Yeah.
I'm not fucking, this
unless you have previous stabbing experience on your resume.
Not fucking.
You're not going to stab 15 people.
Nick Fury in Secret Invasion. So I'm looking for an escape vehicle. That's what I need. If I can get my hands on a vehicle, we're good. All right, you guys won't have to chase the fuck out of me. All right.
Yeah.
But if you're on foot and it's dark, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. An instinct might send you in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Right. Or
and also like if you get lost, you could just die from just being lost.
Yeah.
And who knows where you're at, like what's out there in the fucking woods. Dude, this is a nightmare situation. I don't even want to talk about this anymore.
Yeah.
This is making me scared.
And as we talk about it, I'm thinking of like the crazy situations I've put myself in my life. Like, damn, man,
craziest?
I did all that for some pussy.
What kind of situation did you put yourself in?
Man, I remember one time, this is a long time ago. I was a young man, right? Met this chick.
Young man.
Just like met this random chick out in like the streets of fucking Portland. And we're just
Portland?
Yeah. Not great. We were like downtown.
No. Make no fucking mistake. Portland, Oregon is where all that shit, I don't know if it started there, but that's a hotbed.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The
one of the co-founders of Nike donated like $400 million recently to like the 1805.
The fuck's 1805?
1805 like fund or something like that. Basically, like Portland, Oregon used to be like one of the key cities in America for like slave trade, like underground slave. Like,
well, I know Klan
even beyond
they're clicked up.
Yeah, I mean Portland has a hugely widely racist history. So that's like one of the places where like even after slavery was abolished, they were still
running
human trafficking rings and blah blah blah.
God damn.
So yeah. Definitely, right? Portland's like, when you go there, you're like, oh shit.
Well,
like,
you were out there
this is
risking it.
So anyway, walking home from the bar, met this girl. We're walking in the same direction. We start chopping it up. We're talking. We find a little park bench. It's like 2:00 in the morning.
Oh
like we literally just met, right?
Dude, hold on.
Like 2:30 or something like that.
What ethnicity?
It's like kind of like Asian, white? I think one of her parents was Asian, the other was white.
You were playing a risky game here, but 2 a.m.
But like not like no. Oh, I was about to say something crazy. Like she was she was like a darker skin. Like I think her parents were from like Guam or like Laos or like one of those like southeastern Asian, like the Philippines or something like that, right?
Yeah. Ask
her skin tone was a little bit darker. I trusted her a little bit more.
Yeah. Ask her what spices do you put.
It's a lot of soy.
No. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if she would have been like, just
salt and pepper,
salt.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust her.
Run. You
gotta give me at least one seaseasoning that's not salt or pepper. Any fucking one. Ginseng, turmeric,
anything. Garlic powder. I don't know.
Real crushed olives, like not just like olive powder from the. Anyway, so we're sitting at the park bench. It's like 2:30 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
We're chopping it up for a little bit. We're getting along. She's cute, and she's like, "Oh, you should just like." I live nearby, walk me home, right? I'm like, cool, I'm about to go clap some cheeks. Anyway, we get to her house.
Yeah.
She's like, you want to come in? I'm like, cool, we about to go clap some cheeks, right?
Yeah.
What she doesn't tell me is like, she's got like her two brothers and her cousin inside the house.
Nope.
Right?
And,
I'm already in the house.
No.
I walk in, and it's like, there's a bunch of like white dudes.
Oh, no.
So I'm like... They see my black ass walking in, and she's
did
like,
the room hush?
She's like, not really. They were just kind of like, oh, hey, what's up, dude? And they're like gaming and all that shit, right?
Yeah.
So I walk in, and she's like 5'2", and I'm just like kind of like there behind her. They're like, who's this big black one about to destroy my sister? Anyway,
wait, that was definitely her brothers though.
Yeah. She was like, hey, it's my brothers, her, and the cousin, right?
This is dark.
So we go to her kitchen, we grab a couple of drinks. We're out in the living room chopping it up, chatting or whatever. It's like 3:30 now. She's like, hey, let's go upstairs real quick, right? Long story short, we go upstairs. I knock it down. She's like, you want to stay the night?
Yeah.
It's like 6 o'clock in the morning
Nope,
at this point.
gotta go.
I'm like, nah, like someone's coming up. I might, because I'm like, if I slept there.
Yeah. No, now you're in a vulnerable position.
Now they could come in the room.
Yeah.
Like,
It's hog tie ass. Yeah.
So I'm like, nah, shorty.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my ass home.
Yeah.
This is before like the scooters were like popular and common, but in like
Yeah.
Portland they've had the bikes that you could jump on
You hopped
for
on one of them
years.
bitches,
Hopped on one of those bikes,
Yeah.
had a beautiful little ride home, had my AirPods in, I was listening to some
that's
music,
smooth,
just
yeah.
clap some cheeks.
Yeah.
Brothers didn't kill me, right? So
you were living the life.
ultimately, like when you get out of the situation, you
you're
don't
like,
die.
oh,
you
great.
look back, you're like, yo, that
was fantastic.
Yeah, that shit was a movie.
Nah, dude, I can't.
But being in the situation,
I feel like
clapping cheeks, listening for the door open.
Dude, I feel like
I was watching the door more than I was looking at her. I was like, make sure that mother. Because if you start to see that knob,
she's
twist,
like wrong hole.
Yes,
You're like,
I don't
sorry,
care which hole.
I wasn't looking at it.
But if you're doing that and then you start to see that doorknob turn, you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
I really don't know how much trouble you were really in if you were clapping cheeks for 4 hours. You said 2 a.m. and then you left at 6 a.m.
No. They didn't go to the room until
we didn't go
3
up
or 4
until
like
like 5 o'clock, and then about like 6, I'm out of
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, that was 4 hours, man.
Yeah, no.
Got some cardio, and then you took a ride home.
I got 4 hours in me.
Stamina, yeah. Dude, look, when it comes to like putting yourself into like precarious situations, man, I'm always just really cognizant of like who I'm with. Like, I have to have a pretty good estimation of what your intentions are. And in that situation, it was very unclear what was going on.
Yeah.
Because the scenario sounds weird.
That's just a story that I'm going to tell here because this is being recorded. I've got worse stories.
Oh my God, dude. I don't know, man. I when it comes to putting, like, because I think it's because it's like, when it comes to like, putting yourself in like hairy situations, it's like I can get weird, right? Like, so in terms of like, all right, if this is what it is, I'm going down fucking swinging, right? And I don't know if I'm going to wait for the first strike. I might have to strike first, right?
but then everything was perfectly normal, and then someone's just like, out of nowhere, he just started attacking us.
So it's like I'm very careful with what the situations I put myself in, because once I get that eerie feeling,
yeah,
I'm gonna have to make a call here.
Yeah,
it might be the wrong call. I don't know.
Stand next to the most loved family member. That's your way out. Fuck this 9-year-old up.
Oh shit. Oh my God. Anyways, about TV and film, right? Let's make a hard transition here. In all seriousness, no, Addy, great to have you back in the building, man. We've got you at least for a little time longer. In that time, let's have some fun. It's gonna be a good summer. It feels like a great summer already.
It's already off to a good start.
Already off to a great start. I feel like this is
once we get some
summer.
air conditioning in here.
Yeah, that's okay. We don't need it. What's air conditioning? It's like a sauna, you know.
It's a privilege.
I need to sweat out.
You should be lucky to have it.
It's not until you don't have something that you really appreciate it, you know. But yeah, this is gonna be a great summer, man. It's already off to a banger. We're gonna have some great.
This
times.
isn't the first time, but like, do you guys color coordinate? Like that's not the first time.
Yeah, we didn't put it into
black
the
and yellow.
Chat. Yeah, we're mind melding. That's it.
Man.
That's what's going on.
I like it.
I feel like it's just it looks good for the podcast. You know?
Yeah.
It does. Good. You guys look sharp.
But what is your shirt? What is this one? It looks
Mine?
like a.
I don't even fucking know, dude. I think I got.
What is that?
Nope.
What happened there?
Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah, why'd you mess with everything, man?
I didn't mess with it.
Gone for 30 days.
Yeah,
You fuck everything up.
Hold on,
Were you trying to punch in?
No, I was just trying to go to the one shot.
All right, try to one shot now.
Nah, let's see it. Nah, we
Fuck.
don't got it.
No. We're gonna correct this live. I don't give a shit. We're gonna.
But no,
figure
the
this
answer
out.
is.
I was
color
thinking,
coordination,
man.
But black and yellow, always good. I'm not even like a huge like Towson.
Oh, wait, did you go to
University-
Towson?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So wait, you went to actually like on campus like during the day, and Tunde went at night, right? Or something like that.
Were you mostly night classes?
Yeah, I took night classes.
Okay. Yeah, I was.
I mean, I took some day classes, but
When was that?
when did I go to Towson?
Yeah.
That was from 2009 through 2012. I think I
okay.
graduated 2012.
Okay. I was at Towson like 2011 to 2012 or I think the 2013.
I mean, I didn't attend the university, but that was right around the time that I was spending time at Towson.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, it was nice, man.
We
Those
probably passed
those
each other in the parking garage.
probably, man. Those apartments right across from the main building on York Road.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we partied all the time.
So across from the main building on York.
Yeah,
Road.
yeah,
Okay,
like
yep,
on York
yeah,
Road where you
yeah.
got the tiger in the front, the big yard and
Yep,
everything.
yep.
I think they started building some stuff there now.
Try it one more time, Eddie.
All right, let's see it. Nope.
Fuck
We
me.
still got nothing, man.
Why?
Listen, fuck it. We're just gonna go with the split screen.
I can't do it.
Yeah, man. Towson.
Yeah, Towson's
It was,
nice, man.
It was a good school. I didn't have like. Do you know how some people like these are like major fun party schools. Like some people go to like Michigan and they're like, I'm a Wolverine for life, or like I'm a Oklahoma Sooner, like forever. I just went to college. I didn't have one of those experiences where like I still live in
student
like
pride.
Ohio State or like Arizona State. Those like people who went to those schools are like.
That's
diehard
so
about this
hilarious,
shit.
man, because I didn't go to the school, but I had that.
Yeah.
That was me. It was Towson and Loyola. Like, I
Like,
would
for
love
the
to go
sports
down.
teams and
Yep,
shit?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, man. And all the parties
I'm
and
glad
everything.
someone enjoyed it. I just went.
Man,
Took
when
my
I was
ass
down
back
at
home.
like Loyola, I would DJ at one of the bars down there, man. That was the most fun I ever had.
Oh yeah, so you were clapping cheeks.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah. As long
Absolutely,
as
yeah. Tunde always kind of like gives me that weird face, like
Yeah.
like I didn't have it. I had it, man.
That's why men do 90% of the things that we do. If the result is
when the
clapping cheeks at
words
the end.
are, I was going down to Loyola. The words clapping cheeks don't usually follow after that.
No,
But what you mean?
What are you talking about? Goucher was over there
Yeah.
too, right?
Well, Goucher was on the other side.
Yeah, but Goucher was like, oh god, I'll take one of you. Take one of you.
And that was the time that Goucher was, I think, an all-girls school at that time too. Now it's co-ed.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't even know Tunde.
it was like shooting fish in a barrel. That Goucher.
I don't know at all.
DJ hit the lights, man. That was me.
Oh my god.
Back in the
DJ
day.
hit the lights. That was your DJ name.
DJ hit the lights. Hell yeah, man.
There's just no way.
There's still a whole article in
In
there's-
2011, that was a great DJ name.
No, and that's literally what it was too. It was like right around 2011.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, man. There's an
HTL.
archived article somewhere at one of the Loyola newspapers where I'm just like cheesing in the photo
Yeah.
with a Ramones T-shirt on DJing.
Did you sell drugs to any of the kids?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Why would I sell them when I'm the DJ?
Listen,
like
as
if
your
you
lawyer-
want drugs, you can
as
get
your
drugs.
lawyer, that's a good answer.
Free drinks, free drugs. It was good times, man.
All right. So, what are we watching right now? Because I have no agenda for this particular podcast.
Yeah.
I have nothing lined up. What should we talk about? What we're watching, or are there any news stories that you're particularly paying attention to
So
right now?
let's talk about what we're watching really quickly. I started 2 new shows recently, and I found a new, not obsession, but like a new area of interest that I'm like really starting to like.
Yeah.
But we'll start with the shows that I'm watching. So there's a show called like The Night Shift. I think it's on, I want to say it's on Netflix, right? I'll give you a quick synopsis. It's about like this guy who's like an agent for the FBI. He kind of had this like shitty desk job, right? Where he has to stand by on a phone. And it's like, it's one of those emergency phone lines where it's only ever going to ring in the event of like a real serious emergency. Like top agents would call this line, like, get me out. I need to be extracted from fucking Istanbul. And you know what I mean? Like something. And then, you know, one day the phone rings and this like huge conspiracy ensues. And so far it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
The acting is not great.
Yeah.
The storyline is somewhat predictable. Like, oh, no, they're not going to be able to go back to FBI because they can't trust anybody within, you know, and the guy and the girl are on the run.
Yeah.
But so far it's actually fairly interesting.
Yeah.
It's one of the better.
Who's in it?
Nobody we know.
Right.
Was Morgan Freeman in it? Nope, he's in that show with Zoe Saldana, The Lioness, that's coming out. But nobody that I'm familiar with is in the show, but so far it's pretty good.
You know what you just described as Jack Ryan?
Yeah.
That is literally Jack Ryan.
It's all like that.
That's all it is.
Yep. Just one of those, like, I'm an agent who's like in the weeds, but I'm going to figure it out and save the country from an internal
Wait, it's called
conspiracy.
The Night Shift, or is it called The Night Agent?
The Night Agent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The Night Shift is actually a strip club here in Baltimore.
Yeah. It's easy to get them confused. Yeah.
It's underneath 95 over in Essex.
The darker.
Yeah, any strip club underneath the highway bridge.
It's a dark time.
Like, this one is actually fairly nice, but
Yeah.
inside's terribly designed. I don't like a strip club that's not well designed, you know, because that's what I care about really is the
I'm sure.
is the interior design when I'm at a
sure you're
strip club.
pointing to the fucking
How
the crown
easily-
molding here
Yeah.
isn't
Guys,
quite
how
just-
easily we get sidetracked.
Okay, so you said they're watching the Night Agent.
Night Agent, yep,
And
it's on Netflix. Interesting show. It's like one of those things where you can watch casually. I don't have to pay too much attention to it because it's like, you know, again, it's like a Jack Ryan, or what is it? Is it Jack Ryan and then there's also Jack Reacher?
They're both equally
Yeah, it's like the
stupid.
same shit, right?
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where you can watch casually, but you know what's going to happen. Like, oh, gunfight's going to ensue. They're going to get away, and then they can't trust anybody, and someone gets double crossed, and then someone falls in love. That kind of shit.
Yeah.
So it's good for that. I'm also watching. I picked up a new anime because I've started to like. Oh wait, never mind. Nope, I forgot about Silo on Apple TV Plus. I think I've told you about this.
Maybe.
I think we talked about it last episode. It's very good. It's getting better. Rebecca Ferguson, she's in Dune. She plays Timothy Chalamet's mom. She's in it. And again, it was a Quincy Jones' daughter, Rashida Jones. She was in the first episode at least. I think her character's going to come back at some point. Very good show. Something surprising that that I wouldn't expect to find on Apple TV Plus, but it's a really good watch. If you're ever looking for like. You know how sometimes you feel like certain streaming services you neglect?
Yeah.
You have Paramount Plus and you're like,
see
what
that
the
shit
fuck?
coming out every month on your fucking, and you're just like, God
fuck,
damn it.
I do have Peacock, don't I? Like, let me make an effort to go
yeah.
watch something on this network.
Yeah,
So if you
yeah.
have Apple TV Plus and you're like, fuck, let me just go watch something on it.
Silo's the thing to
Silo's a good one. Or C, which I personally loved, but
yeah, I'm gonna try to watch C at some point.
Yeah, it's great.
So I think the hard part about some of these shows is, for me, it's just starting it. It's just which show do I want to start, and in the meantime, as I'm trying to decide which new show I want, I just watch old shit, and, and then I just stay watching the old shit. But I've been meaning to get over to C too because I know you've raved about it, and I've also heard separately from that, I've heard good things about it.
Yo, you know what I do that's funny? I don't know why I do it. Whenever I'm watching a new show for the first time, it's like the first episode, I'm just like, you better fucking be good. I'm like, you better prove to me that this is worth my time.
Do you chastise?
I'm just watching it with an angst against it already. Like, probably not that good. probably won't be that good, right? And then you find that new show that you like, and you're 3 episodes in, and you're like, this shit is
amazing. So I recently watched not a new show, but a new season of the show. Black Mirror just came out on Netflix, and I'm like maybe 3, maybe even 4 episodes in. Dude, the last 2 seasons have been borderline garbage, and I feel bad for saying that, right? Because you know, somebody took the time to actually fucking create this shit. So for me to sit here and be like, it's garbage and like not,
people can create garbage. We do it all the time, literally.
No. Yeah, very, very true. But I think I give credit to the attempt, meaning that like you took the time and you made something and you went in location, you shot it, did this, did that, you wrote it, yada yada. So it's like I got to give credit because it's not an easy endeavor to like make some sort of content, you know, that's not fucking just putting your phone up and doing a goofy ass dance for like TikTok, right?
Yeah.
You have to pull shit together. You know, you've got directors, DPs, lights. You know,
I do respect the effort and the grit it takes to like film and produce, write, film, produce, edit anything and put it out there.
Yeah.
Right. Some of it's garbage though.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not gonna let you skate past that.
So what I'm trying to say is that the last couple seasons of Black Mirror have been not as good as the first few. I would say the first three, maybe even the first 3 seasons, I'll say are fucking solid. And then they had like other like little one-off episodes, like I think it's called White Christmas. It's a really good episode. Which was kind of like a one-off episode. I wasn't really a fan of like they had the interactive one. It was like Cumberbatch or some shit like that.
Kaleidoscope?
Is
Or
that
was it an episode within the show? Oh, because Kaleidoscope is a completely different show.
Yeah, no. It was an episode of Black Mirror, but it was like interactive where, Kaleidoscope is a different thing. But I think it's kind of the same concept where it's basically like a choose your own adventure, but in video format.
Yeah.
And it was okay. Just okay.
I've tried some of those interactive Netflix shows. It already took me 35 minutes to choose this. Okay.
Yeah,
now I have to make other decisions.
No,
can't
that
do it.
seems to be not.
And then go to work tomorrow and make more decisions. I'm here.
I came here to not
supposed to be
think.
stress free.
I don't want to think.
And if you're watching with someone and then now you're arguing about the decision.
Left or right? Should I the bedroom or the kitchen? Where should they? Fuck, I don't know.
And then you end up having to apologize for no reason. I'm sorry. Sorry, I chose to go to the kitchen. Now you're gonna fight because of Netflix.
Get divorced.
That's a terrible idea. Irreconcilable differences in the language of the divorce papers is like Netflix. We were watching an interactive show and then now here we are.
Netflix and non-chill. So I'm watching this episode. I do hear like a little bit of echo. I don't know. Maybe it's my headphones that are turned up too loud. But anyways, it's not that big of a deal. So the last 2 seasons have been really iffy for Black Mirror. This season slaps. Like probably some of the best episodes of the series, I think. And maybe I'm just looking at it with a fresh pair of eyes. Maybe I need to go back and look at some of those older episodes. But this season feels like they really fucking took their time and they really like kind of just were like, we're going to do our own thing. I feel like the way I feel about them is kind of like how I feel about the band Coldplay. I feel like they got hot real fucking quick, right? And then they had like 2 or 3 albums where it's like, God damn, dude, these dudes miss.
Yeah, the labels just like put out the music. It wasn't that good.
And then they hit a few albums where it's just like, I don't know. It seems like you guys are trying to do what people want you to do rather than just being you. And then they put out another banger that's just like, yeah, all right, you guys are back. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what Black Mirror is right now. Is this latest season is really fucking good. So I've been watching that. I haven't gotten through all of the episodes, but like, so for instance, they have this one episode. It's the first episode of season 6. It's called Joan is Awful. It's a mind fuck in terms of just like, it's a weird, super weird concept that when it happens, you're like, okay, where is this going to go? And then it keeps just going in that direction. You're like, wait, what the fuck is happening?
Is it like kind of like Beef, where like the thing just keeps getting bigger and bigger and more out of control, like one of those things? You haven't watched it?
I need to watch Beef. Yeah. I was going to watch it. We were taking a
Beef
to Italy, and I was going to watch it, and then I just ended up playing Sudoku the entire time.
Yeah, it's great. Like it's not good. And, you know, it's not. It wasn't just all right. It was fucking great.
Yeah,
it was great.
I've heard. I got to watch it.
I've never seen an episode of Black Mirror. Well, no, I've watched like 2 or 3 actually. I've never seen like a full season of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
I don't watch.
You need to. They're what do you call
you
it?
can just start from wherever.
Yeah, it's a anthology. No, I don't even know if that's a proper word for it. It's not really.
Meaning like the show is not, episodes are not connected.
No.
Yeah. The story, there's no connective
they're
story.
Sort of connect, like in a super really fucking loose way, but not directly. No one episode is dependent on another.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I've been hearing a lot of noise about Black Mirror. I've never really like cared about the show. I tried it. I gave it like 3-4. I'm pretty sure I gave it 3 episodes actually.
Yeah.
I tried a 4th and I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. But I did think I watched the White Christmas one-off one.
That was a really good episode, I thought.
It just was a show that wasn't for me. I don't know if I love shows that like they're not connected in some way, because I like just like tell me like one longer large story or inform me in some way.
I generally like that too, but I feel like the episodes are so good with Black Mirror that I'm like, I don't care, because usually I like when things link up and things make sense and are connected and yada yada. But Black Mirror, I really do appreciate each individual episode on its own. So I've been watching that. I just watched the first episode of Secret Invasion.
Yes.
This is the Samuel L. Jackson led Disney show or Marvel show. And it was a really good episode, I thought. I don't know if you watched it yet.
I have not.
I thought it was really good. Or at least I think it's building up to somewhere that seems like it's going to be.
Isn't
really
Daenerys Targaryen in this show too?
Yeah. Emilia
Clarke.
Emilia Clarke is in this episode. Man, I don't know why people get on her.
People
case
hate
so
her.
much. People hate her so much.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
she seems like such a sweet girl, but people
person,
hate her. Yeah, I think it's because like people like we like Daenerys, and then they were like, we get you, and you're like,
Emilia.
It's not what I bought.
Throw the wig on again. Oh
man.
I mean, but credit to her. That means that she just fucking kicked that role's ass. Where it's like everybody's clamoring for Daenerys, you know.
Yeah,
but,
it's kind of like the kid who plays Ghost's son.
Yeah, he can't. I still hate him.
I still don't like him.
Hate him. I fucking hate that dude. Yeah. His fucking face, his voice, everything about him. I fucking
no
hate.
matter what, he always
fucking hate it.
In any, I've seen him in like other things, like other
and he can't accept it.
I'm just like that bitch ass.
Tariq.
No matter what the movie's about,
bitch ass Reek.
If they ever cast him in a Marvel movie, I automatically don't like that character.
Yeah. Hope he gets Thanos snapped again. So, and then I watched, I went to the movies and I watched Across the Spider-Verse. That was really, really good. I thought it was a really good movie. Great follow-up to the first one. And I went back recently and watched the first one. The first one still holds up. I think it's a really good movie. Maybe not quite as good as I remember it being. I just remember coming away from like, that was really fun. I think I just was pleasantly surprised that it was a good movie. And I think that kind of lingered over. Now, watching it back, it's like, I don't know if it's quite as mind-blowing. But like,
I feel like that's not a fair judgment though, because you just watched the second one, the newest one, right? The better, greater, bigger story with the better animation, the music, bigger budget, and then you go back and watch the first one, you're like, it's not quite as good. I feel like there's probably some like unconscious bias there.
No, because I'm a pretty fair judge of
because it was rated the best Spider-Man movie of all time before Across the Spider-Verse came out.
Yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't a good movie. That's not what I'm saying. And I'm not even saying I like Across the Spider-Verse more than the first one. What I am saying, it's not quite as good as I remember it being. But I'm a pretty good judge of like when I go back and watch things, kind of taking it on its own. And what
does that mean though? What is it? I don't remember. Like, what do you mean when you say it wasn't quite as good as you remember?
I remember the story being good, but I think I had my perception of the story was that it was just like amazing story and it was great. It was like, it was a pretty basic fucking story. Like, you know, like did they do some cool shit? They did, no doubt. But it wasn't like this, like, oh my God, this is revolutionary. This is crazy, right?
Is that why you go back and watch things?
No, I go back because I feel like I'm different. And so I'm trying to gauge if my perception of the thing has changed. Like going back and watching like a show or a movie or whatever the case is, I know I've changed since I've probably watched that thing, especially if there's been years since I've watched it. So I'm wondering if I still have the same relationship with it that I did before. Some of it, yes. Some of it, no.
It feels like a lot of pressure watching a show.
Pressure for me?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, Addy, tell me if I'm wrong here, but like, it seems like when you're saying like let's say you watched a show 3 years ago,
sure,
and you decide to go back and rewatch it, and you're like, it's been 3 years, like I'm a different person than I was 3 years ago when I first watched the show. Mm-hmm. So my experience with it now is more than likely going to be, or may or may not more than likely, may or may not be different with that show now than it was then. So when you're rewatching something that you've watched before, when time has passed, are you being so hypercritical of like thinking back to, hey, how that moment that happened in the show, right? Like, let's say you're watching Game of Thrones, you're rewatching the Red Wedding, and you're like,
still amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, you know, I'm just using that as like an example because like a lot of people might get that, right? But like, let's say it's like a season 3 of Breaking Bad and Pinkman is like dating a new girl, and you're like, oh, you know, 3 years ago I thought Pinkman was like, you know, he was the victim in this situation, but now
I think I literally remember saying that exact same thing, which is I remember saying that Jesse, when I first watched the show, I had a lot more sympathy for him and his whole play with Walt, but then going back and watching it, what I realized is that he just makes a lot of decisions that end up leading to his demise anyways, like, you know, so my sympathy for him kind of like waned a little bit because I then, and also going back and watching something allows me to then pick up on shit that I didn't pick up on without, because I feel like when you first watch something, there's this like pressure of, I have to understand what's happening in the moment.
Yeah, that's true.
And so sometimes that forces me not to recognize like little nuances that are actually really important to like the plot or whatever the case is. And so going back and watching it without that pressure of, this is the first time that I watched it and it's the first time I've seen it. Now I can pay attention to like little things because I already understand the big thing.
And are you doing that intentionally or are you doing that casually?
It comes and goes. Sometimes it's intentional. Sometimes it just happens to be, I'm just in a particular scene, I'm paying attention to something that I wouldn't have paid attention to had I not watched it previously before. I really do recommend it because it's really interesting in terms of like the different relationship that you might have with, especially like older shows. I feel like so I would say probably every 3 to 4 years, I make it a point to watch either Buffy or Angel. And
Fuck that.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, you're wasting your life.
It's one of my favorite shows of all time. Well, maybe not Buffy so much, but Angel specifically is like one of my favorite shows of all time. And Buffy's kind of, it's still up there in terms of one of my favorite shows, but maybe.
If you were to be able to look at the amount of time you spent rewatching Buffy.
Yeah.
Do you think it would still be the greatest shows of all time? If you're like, damn, I spent a total of 7 weeks of my life rewatching Buffy, would you still view the show the same way if you had those numbers?
Yeah. Why would that numbers change?
Because then it would be like, damn, I could have spent that time like maybe like reading the books or like watching a different show, a newer show that I might even like more than Buffy. If I'd spent that time differently, those 7 weeks of rewatching Buffy.
Not really, because it all balances out, right? Like, because when I watch a new show, sometimes I watch a new show and I'm like, oh, that was a waste of my time. Like, you know, I wish I had those. I wish I had that one season back of this show that I spent my time watching.
Yeah.
At least with Buffy, I know I enjoy it, you know, and it's something. I think my going back and watching it has. The gaps between the years that I watch it has increased as the years go on. And I think that's just because it's like, you know, there's only so many times you can fucking watch something.
So my partner just started watching Buffy on your recommendation.
Yeah.
I think I watched like 2 or 3 episodes with her and, you know, the 90s nostalgia is there, right? Or like early 2000s nostalgia, right? 90s.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
All of it's there. I couldn't. After like 2 or 3 episodes, I'm like, yeah, fuck this.
Yeah.
One, the
CGI,
like the CGI. Well, not even that. Like the fashion, and what they're all wearing in 1998, 2004.
That threw you off so much, and you couldn't watch it.
I'm just like, yo, what the fuck is this outfit? Like, what are they wearing? I can't watch this shit anymore.
Really? Like you're like, man. Like,
and then
nobody's wearing those.
Sarah
jeans
Michelle
anymore.
Gellar. No ass. I can't watch it. I'd rather watch something else.
Now, you know, in true misogynist fashion, you
can't watch
a show.
I loved it
movie.
then. You're right.
So you're telling me when you're watching the fucking.
So here's what I'm not going to rewatch. This is not my first time ever seeing Buffy. I'm pretty sure I've seen most of it.
I'm pretty sure you've never watched it all the way through though.
When the original episodes were coming out, I used to watch Buffy all the time. You know, it's like, you know, we didn't pay for cable. We just had to like, of the few channels that we had, we had to like pick something. Buffy was one of those things that was usually on, or Cousin Skeeter, you know what I mean, or Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Nah, Cousin Skeeter is definitely on Nickelodeon. That was a premium.
Well, I mean, we had, you might be able to go through and find something. Oh shit, we got HBO this week. But I'm not gonna go back and rewatch Buffy.
Again, for one, you're just not. That's not your thing, and then 2. It's just not a show that you appreciated. I appreciated it because it's for whatever reason my sensibilities, like I I love the show. But take, you go back and watch fucking Cowboy Bebop all the fucking time. You say most nights you fall asleep to watching an episode of Cowboy Bebop.
The music is great, and the animation and the storytelling is great too.
Exactly. So I think we all find different things like valuable.
Can't say all three of those things for Buffy.
I can.
Lies.
Music. First of all, it's not animated.
Storytelling, and I'll give you just like cinematography.
Yeah, and again, for the early 2000s, for a show, I feel like it did as well as one could do in the fucking late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, I think Cowboy Bebop came out in like 92 or something like that.
It's a minute ago. And it's an animated show, right? Mm-hmm. So you can do a lot of different shit. And it has like a certain
I didn't
style.
Make the rules. One is better.
And this is, fair enough. I love Cowboy Bebop, right? This is no disrespect to Cowboy Bebop. I adore it, right? And I didn't watch it back then. I only watched it more recently in the last few years. But the point I'm trying to make is that going back and watching shows, I feel like you look at it as like a waste of time. But in me, like I think especially like as I get older, I'm finding the need to like find the understanding in something. Like it's not enough that I'm just watching it. It's things happening in front of my face, and things are happening like a million miles an hour. You know the movie that taught me this the most? Going back and watching Training Day was a revelation because there is no wasted moment in that movie, and it wasn't until I went back and watched it, it was like maybe like a year or two ago, I even remember talking about it on the podcast of just like, this movie is a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Every single moment I can remember from Training Day, it was like, there was no like bullshit, we're gonna waste some time on this story just to fill the gaps in the storytelling or the film. It was a very like tight and precise movie with great storytelling, great acting, great cinematography, great directing, the whole nine.
But you can watch the movie as just like this, like kind of like pseudo buddy cop, situation, and I kind of just take it for what it's worth, right?
Yeah.
And just be like, oh, it's just like some nice action. Denzel's being Denzel. Ethan Hawke's great in it. All right, great. It was a great movie. But going back and looking at like the little details that all fucking add up to this crescendo is like I like was kind of speechless after I rewatched, because it's like, how the fuck?
But I feel like it's easier to do that with the movie than it is, because the movie 2 hours I can go back and reappreciate the thing. Yeah. But like to commit to like a full show, a TV show with multiple seasons, like you're rewatching like 120 episodes. Yeah. That feels like a lot.
Well, I'm not saying that, like, so for instance, like as I'm maybe watching Buffy or whatever the case is, like I'm doing other shit at the same time. Like,
because you're not like intently watching every episode.
No, maybe there might be some episodes that I might be like, okay, like I want to pay attention to this or whatever the case is. But more often than not, I'm probably doing some other shit at the same time because I've already watched this like a million times. So it's like I already know the thing.
I've gone back and rewatched some shows, but you're right. If it's between going back and rewatching an old show, even if I know I love it, and like maybe finding a new show and giving that a try, and like, I might like this, I'm always going to go with the I might like something new over I know I will enjoy something old. Partly because I want to preserve my perception of the thing in my head, right? I'm just like, I liked it.
Really interesting.
I liked it then. That's good enough. I don't need to go back and like review it or critique it. I've gone back and watched The Office many times. I've gone back and watched Breaking Bad, and like, those things stand the test of time. Yeah. There are other shows where I'm like, if I go back and I rewatch that shit, I know I'm gonna hate it. But
doesn't that
let
mean,
me not do that?
But doesn't that mean like the thing wasn't really like that good in the first place? If like
it means that I enjoyed it at that point in time, and that's all I needed from it. Was to enjoy it then, not to like go back and re-experience it now, so I can like critique it and realize that, damn, I didn't really enjoy it then.
I also think,
but I did though.
I also think I'm kind of trained to do this because we had all these movies when I was a kid, like that we would record on VHS tapes, and we would when the cable got cut, we had no choice but to go back and watch.
9 years old, rewatching Belly, like
damn, that DMX, you a wild boy.
These motherfuckers had the streets on lock.
He was trying to get back to Africa. That's all they were trying to do.
No way I should have been rewatching Belly Line. Let me critique
which is a
this
fucking
shit.
classic, by the way. Yeah, that's a classic.
We had the
movie.
Players Club
Belly.
on VHS.
Oh my god, Jesus Christ! Yeah,
Boys in the Hood. We had like
Hood,
the Bad Boys. Yeah, I think it was Bad Boys 1.
What's your most nostalgic like if you could have one movie from that like era, like when you were younger, to all right, this is the
to preserve
this is the
or
only
something like
one
that.
that's going to go with you. We're going to Mars. This is the only one that's going with you.
This is a very, very, very difficult question, but I'm going to go with, for some reason, The Wood.
It's a feel good movie. That's
it's a
really
feel good movie,
choice.
but it's also like some real life shit in there.
Yeah,
good acting. It's just a nice movie with representation. Feels good.
This is how we do it in North Carolina. Or what the fuck did you say?
North Carolina.
This is how we do it from North Carolina.
No, was he from South Carolina? He was
I think
country
it was
as
North
fuck.
Carolina. Yeah,
but it'd probably be The Wood.
That's awesome. That's a that shows a lot about it. I feel like this guy says a lot of shit.
It could have easily
but at the end of the
been
day,
Boys in the Hood, but I went with The Wood.
Yeah, I feel like Boys in the Hood is like
Boys in the Hood really is a story about what happens if you don't grow up with your father.
they're actually polar opposite. This is true. Well, yeah, but the Wood and Boys in the Hood are actually cautionary tales because they both show sort of similar stories, but like the divergence, like where they could get be split apart.
These four boys obviously went the right way. Like a lot of them went to college and like had like successful careers and started businesses afterwards. And Boys in the Hood, a lot of those dudes were like dope boy was selling drugs, and the only dude that kind of made it out was Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely a cautionary tale. There's different sides of the city or just different groups of friends who went in different directions in high school.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the movie that I would.
And Addie, we want to hear yours too.
Yeah. Addie, if you have yours right now, go ahead.
Like, are we talking in the vein of the type of movies you're talking about?
No, literally any movie. We're just it doesn't have to be a black movie.
If you had to take it with you.
I mean, I thought we were going with a theme here, and if we were going with a theme, it'd be Set It Off. I love Set It Off.
Very sad ending. Only so many times. If I'm on a deserted island, it's only so many
that's
times I can watch
depressing.
Queen Latifah get shot up.
Yeah, that's a depressing.
Great
one.
performance.
Yeah.
Set It
I
Off
love
was
that.
Like
and
before Training Day.
The one movie that I'll always go back to that I just think is a masterpiece. I don't know if it was in the 90s. It might have been just before the 90s, but Leon the Professional.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. I will go back and watch that one over and over again.
Yeah.
Who's that? A young Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what was the guy who plays Leon again? He's one of those actors where you've seen him in so many things, but I always forget his name.
It's
Like Jean
Reno.
Jean Reno.
Yeah. Fantastic, man. You had Gary Oldman in it.
It's French, so it's always Jean. Yeah.
Jean
something.
Yeah, fantastic movie.
Yeah, great movie. The movie, I think, I don't know why I even had to take this long to think about it. I know exactly
Terminator 2?
No, surprisingly enough. The Fifth Element. It's got to be.
Good one.
Just a movie that has everything I needed. It's got action, it's got comedy, it's got drama, it's got romance.
Yeah.
Everything's in the movie. It's got weird shit.
That is true. Fifth Element is a great one. It's a very good one.
It's just, I don't know what the fuck it is about. It's just, and also the fucking music. I just love, like, I even have it on some of my playlists, like the score for it. Not even like the,
Yeah, the music in that movie was incredible.
Amazing. Is that the fucking rain? Holy shit. What is going on? I feel like it's the apocalypse.
But we needed this. So we're getting a lot of rain here in Maryland for any like non-Maryland listeners.
Yeah, the grass
we
seems
needed
like it
it.
needs,
It's fucking torrential downpour.
Yeah. I think it's the Fifth Element for me. What show would be your number one show that you're like, yo, I got to have this in my back pocket?
Are we going from a certain time period?
Let's widen it up. Any time period.
Fuck. I mean, probably Power.
Really?
Because like, I feel like I could watch that show over and over again, and like I could watch it for the music.
Yeah.
Because the music throughout the show is fire.
Yeah, that's
right.
true. Yeah.
I can go back and I can watch it for the storyline, character development. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I could go back and just appreciate it for like the how it was shot, like having New York City be like a real huge focal part of the show. Right. Yeah. I can go back and watch it just for like the action and the violence. Like, damn, these motherfuckers is killing everybody.
Yeah.
I feel like and then there are times like Tommy at times was like, he's a very funny guy. So you can go back and do like character studies, follow like, let me really pay attention to this character in the storyline.
Yeah.
And appreciate those smaller things.
Yeah. And that just shows me how drastically we see different things. I did not get any of that in Power. Maybe the
I feel like you didn't appreciate the show enough.
You're right. I didn't. I did not appreciate it.
Yeah, so have you ever rewatched it?
No, but I want to.
Give it like another year or two.
Yeah.
And then go back and rewatch it.
No, okay, so here's my. I know the exact same problems I'm gonna have with Power upon watching it again. Is that the story is so convoluted and makes no sense at all. There is no part of this show that actually like the amount of times that Ghost just somehow fucking MacGyver's his way out of a scenario, and how people are so stupid. Like I once said, and I will stick with this till the day I die. I don't know why on my tombstone is going to read, this is how he felt about power.
Of all the things that you, of all your life experiences, that's what it comes down to.
Power, all the conflicts on Power could have simply been solved with a group text message.
But, come on, they're
one single group text message.
That sounds funny on the surface, but they're drug dealers in a organized crime network. All have burners. You can't be in a group text.
Let's all have burners.
The burner group text?
Yeah, the burner group text.
The RICO case? That's like the FBI is just like, thanks, Scott. You might as well add the FBI to the group chat.
The FBI already did. Like, they already had them locked up anyway. So, like, and then all Ghost had to do is just corrupt another person from the fucking FBI or CIA.
They were very corruptible. The Southern District of the FBI.
Everybody.
But anyway, I would go with Power. Like, there are better shows that I rank higher than Power, but when I'm going for like, if I have to rewatch this show consistently, right? And it was my one thing that I saved, and I'm on this island and I need something.
Yeah,
like Game of Thrones could be, but like there are times in Game of Thrones is like a bit too like dark and gloomy, Like it could be like, for some people it might be Sex in the City, and I would get that. It's like it's a light, fun, like crazy, interesting show. For some people it might be like Breaking Bad, right?
I don't know, fam. Game of Thrones might be the one, dude. Because it had everything.
I feel like I could rewatch Power more consistently than I could rewatch Game of Thrones.
I can understand that. Game of Thrones is a hard watch because I watched it. I did insane things. I watched it twice all the way through before season 7 or 8, one of those two, and it was. I was dreaming Game of Thrones. I was talking in Westeros language. I thought I was one of the no-name people. I was just...
This is too much.
It was too much one time. So yeah, maybe I think I agree with you there that Power's an easier show to go back and rewatch.
Redigest it. It's not
Game
as
of Thrones
heavy.
an experience that you have to like clear the calendar a little bit. You can't just have it on gently in the back room. Fucking.
I related to like foods that like I love steak, right? Like a big thick cut of steak.
You're not going
to eat that every night.
Some people try to.
You're going to end up dead.
Should talk to Jordan Peterson.
He
eats that shit.
Tacos.
Yeah.
I could probably eat, especially if you, depending on how you make it, I mean, I get a chicken one, a seafood, we got some blackened shrimp here, we got some like Mai Tai, or, like
you're getting a lot of
pork,
mileage
we got some,
out of this,
knowledge. But the point is that like you can eat tacos, like let's say you eat tacos for 5 days straight. Every night you're having tacos. You could probably do them differently, so every night you kind of still enjoy something about it, but because it's lighter, right? Yeah. Game of Thrones is like having steak every night. It's such heavy of a show. You have to remember so fucking much in Game of Thrones, where everyone's from, what family they're in, weird names that you never heard here. Theon, the Greyjoy, like they have crazy names. Targaryen, like. The names alone and the cities are hard enough to remember on top of all of the stories that they're telling.
That's right. Look, I'm not no mas. I'm not fighting you on this. I'm not fighting you on this. I agree. I think that works. I think that's a proper choice for you is Power.
Doesn't that sound like a nice insult?
I like that for you.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. That's so nice insult. For you.
Whenever women want to insult each other, I'm like, hey, I like that for you.
Yeah, like that's what you just did. That's literally what he just did. I think we see it differently because you'd probably go with something that has like this thing has like more story here. It's like telling a more important, deeper, more thoughtful story than you like Power. You feel like Power might be. Well, I'm coming in from the angle of like
not necessarily
easier rewatch. I like to rewatch something that I'm like I don't have to get really deeply analytical with it. I already enjoy it, so let me not like go back and like re-critique the thing. I'm just gonna go back and enjoy it again for a second time, and I want it to be pleasant on the lighter side.
Addy, what show would you go with?
I mean, let's talk about like time periods and like type of shows. So like comedy wise, like late 90s, early 2000s. If I had to go back and watch one over and over again, it'd be That 70s Show. I think it's hilarious. Another comedy show.
Wait.
Yeah.
All the seasons of that sentence?
Oh yeah. Even with the new characters, with
Who's that guy that just went to prison?
That's rough.
Danny
Danny
Masterson.
Danny Masterson. Yeah.
Would you look at him the same?
No.
If I'm going to be honest, I kind of because I don't really see him in too many other things. I only know him as Hyde.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
that's kind of how I see him too. It's Hyde.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got that show, another comedy show that I will watch
That's what he was doing
religiously.
When he got those girls.
Schitt's Creek.
Son of a bitch.
You
Great
just started
show.
watching. Yeah, I've heard it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I will watch
Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek. I will. You
With,
just pick any random episode. It's fantastic.
Eugene Levy with the
Eugene
eyebrows.
Levy, Dan Levy with his son. Fantastic.
I feel like I tried to watch one episode of that and I was like,
Why do you don't like good
Nah,
things,
yeah, you
man.
keep trying, man. Give it a little bit.
Okay.
Keep trying.
some people have
It's like The
suggestions, and I
Office,
was
man. Like The Office
after 3
didn't start off
episodes.
with a bang right away, too. Like
That's
some
true.
people actually like did not like Michael Scott in the first season
Yeah.
of The Office.
I didn't
was a
like the
different-
first
he
season.
He
He
was.
was a different-
Or like The Sopranos. I will go back and watch The Sopranos over and over again. The Killing. The Killing is my all-time favorite detective.
Oh, I thought you
drama.
were saying The Killing in The Sopranos.
No. Yeah, that too.
I
Yeah,
love how they
absolutely.
murder.
I love how they killed him.
And then one show that not a lot of people watch.
Dude, we said one show, not 12 shows.
One
God
show
damn.
not a lot of people watched. Ed.
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 yeah,
Early
yeah, no,
2000s.
I'm with you. The dude in the trailer park?
Yep.
Yeah.
remember
Yeah. How many seasons? That was like 6 seasons, 7 seasons.
Who was the actor from the show?
Fuck, what's his name? I'm gonna forget his name now. He probably don't know him. Yeah, it's yeah, I can get that. I can get that. Ed to me was like one of those shows that felt like it probably should have been canceled after like the first season, but they were just like, fuck
They
it.
just kept going.
Yeah, let's just keep going.
I'll throw Curb Your Enthusiasm on the list too.
That one's good. That's good. But with Curb Your Enthusiasm, you really have to be into the show. You can't just like introduce a new person to a random episode to it.
I think the complete opposite.
No,
Yeah,
no,
you
I
can
don't think so. No,
specifically-
absolutely
Because
not.
each episode is so
Yeah, it's
situational.
No,
so
to me,
random.
absolutely. I 100% agree. But I have tried to get other people into it.
Okay, specific. You're talking about specific people who have very specific taste.
Yeah, absolutely.
okay,
And
so-
you know the people I'm talking about, so.
I feel like there's certain people who just don't have the
Yeah.
sensibility or like who don't understand like more like drier
Yeah, dry
satirical
humor, yeah.
And if they don't get it,
Then
they
you're
they
just
won't.
not gonna like
and
it,
you can
yeah.
spin your wheels all day, they're just not gonna get it.
Yeah, no, but I think Curb is one of those shows that generally speaking, you can show like a random episode of, and they're gonna, even if they don't like the show, whatever, they're going to get the same flavor
Yeah.
in that episode that they're
Unless it's
literally
not like a
getting in the
carryover episode, because they do have some of those where it's
Even
like
if they do,
yeah.
it's all so specific. Like, yeah, it's
you can
all supposed-
explain it to them in like 2 minutes. You'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, Larry
He-
and Janice, his like manager's wife,
Yeah.
they love and hate each other.
Yeah.
Right? And that explains their whole relationship.
Yeah, but again, though, man, like, we all know those people who just do not understand dry humor at all.
Yeah.
So if you show them Curb, they're probably not going to get into it right away with one random episode.
No,
But
I don't
then
think they're
episode
gonna like
one-
any of the
episode one would
episodes.
then be
Yeah.
like first, random to them.
But if they start watching it from the beginning, give it a little bit, yeah, they're going to get into it.
No, in fact, I would argue it's probably going to be harder because the Curb.
Have you tried it, though? Have you tried showing it to one of your friends who just does not understand dry humor at all?
I have with, someone that you guys all know, my partner, and she was just kind of like she kind of just, I could tell the
Wasn't
style
into
of
it.
humor
Yeah.
wasn't for her.
It's not for everybody. What I'm trying to say is, it's not for everybody, and what I'm saying is whether you're watching the first episode or a random episode in between, the Curb doesn't change ever. Like it doesn't become
consistent.
it doesn't become like a heavy drama at some point. Like at any point during it, it's not like it becomes like a fucking an action movie at some point. Like it just Curb is Curb from that first fucking episode to any episode thereafter. It's literally the same exact show. So it doesn't matter what episode you show of it. It's going to be the same shit. Now I think I understand what you're saying, Addy, in terms of like if you show somebody any story and have them follow it from the beginning, there's always a possibility that they're just going to get hooked based on the fact that
Season
they're watching
one,
the
episode
characters.
one is always going to be the easiest place to start. However, in some shows there might be like an an amazing episode. That's like, if I show you this episode, just because it was so good,
but you don't appreciate it as much if you haven't
without
watched
the backstory.
Like, so for instance, if you watch like the Red Wedding, you can just watch the Red Wedding, but it has like, you'll be like, oh, okay, this
because you don't care about the characters. You don't
then
know
if you
any of
watch
their
it from the
names.
beginning, you're just like,
yeah,
what? Like, I remember I knew about the Red Wedding before I ever watched Game of Thrones, and I knew it was coming up and I still got to the end of the episode. I was just jaw on the floor, shocked, dismayed. I was waking Caroline up. Like, oh my God, she's like, leave me the fuck alone. Like, you know, it's like I feel like the really good episodes of a show are like, so for instance, in Buffy, I would argue maybe one of the greatest episodes of a show that I've ever seen. It's really the one episode, although I would argue maybe 2 episodes. But the one episode is called The Body, and it's when Buffy's mother dies, and it's one of the like bleakest, most like, it has nothing to do with monsters or anything like that. It's just like a really fucking bleak episode. But I wouldn't start somebody there because you have to earn that, like, to get to that point, because it's this like weird episode that sits in the middle of all this other shit that's like normal Buffy shit. But it's this one episode that you can't really appreciate until you've like stayed with it.
If you didn't know anything about the show, you couldn't watch that episode and really have the connection or the experience you had.
I
still don't care what you say. Buffy is not that good of a show. That is insane that you rewatch so much of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Here's the thing.
Sarah Michelle Gellar doesn't rewatch Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
She probably doesn't, actually. I think a lot of people don't go back and like rewatch.
True. I mean, if I did, I wouldn't rewatch my shit.
Yeah, that seems kind of weird.
Only like
you've got your shit on repeat.
Only athletes in like the weekend would go back and rewatch. Like, you know his show The Idol on HBO.
I've been meaning to watch it. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it's rough.
It is right out the gate. Just like, I think within the first 10 minutes, it's just like ass and titties and like overproduction and like, we're gonna do what is that other show on HBO with Zendaya? What's that called?
Euphoria.
Like, we're gonna do what Euphoria did, but make it way sluttier and way more revealing and like not as tasteful, but it's gonna look great.
Yeah,
that's all that show is.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it only because people. I feel like I have a habit of watching shit that everybody else hates because I'm like, there's just no way this is this bad, right? Some of it is, it's this bad. Some of it is like, all right, everybody's come the fuck down. This is not the worst.
This show is laughably,
yeah.
Very tough word to say, laughably. Laughably.
How would you say that? Like
how would Trump say it? It's laughable, laughably. I said it so laughably, everyone cheered.
Yeah. I think the.
Hey, Tunde.
Yeah.
On Buffy, you remember that one episode? I forgot what it was called, but it was like when those guys come down, those like ghouls to the town, and they take everybody's voices.
Yeah. Oh, Hush.
Hush, that was one of my favorite ones.
That's one of the greatest episodes of the show.
That was fantastic.
Yeah,
that was scary, man. Watching that as a kid,
terrifying.
That was scary.
Absolutely terrifying. Buffy has really some banger episodes, man. Like I think that it gets a bad rap because I feel like shortly after that, or maybe during that time period, we had the Dawson's Creeks of the world, and then soon thereafter there were the OC, and I feel like Buffy kind of got shoehorned into that. But it's really such a different thing than any of those things, but it feels like it still inhabits that same space. Or even like Charmed, right? Charmed is one of the most awful shows I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And for people to ever compare it to Buffy is, I will spit in your face if you ever tell me that Charmed can fucking you can say Charmed in the same breath that you can say Buffy. It's absolutely preposterous. Charmed made
I think
no
Charmed
attempt.
had a more likable...
I'm sorry.
Cast.
Excuse me?
I mean, even what's that one woman
sorry.
everyone hated? Fucking the sister,
No, I know you're
the
talking
older
about.
sister with the dark black hair.
Yeah.
Something Courtney.
No, it's not Courtney. Her name I think was Prue on the show.
Yeah. What was her name in real life? Anyway, she was one of the sisters in Charmed, but Charmed also had. Pull up the cast of Charmed.
Yeah, I'm actively doing that. You're not.
Yeah,
I like how you're ordering me.
Do what you're
I'm
doing
it
and just do it faster. I shouldn't have to ask.
Shannon Doherty.
Give me the rest of the cast.
Holly Marie Combs, Alyssa Milano, Rose McGowan,
and Rose McGowan.
Yeah,
and Shannon Doherty.
Yeah.
Even though Shannon Doherty was kind of a bitch, I think that cast of girls was just...
I mean, I don't even know that. Everybody just keeps saying that.
That cast of women, I don't want to get fucking canceled.
That's fair.
cast of women.
They are women.
Yes. I said girls. I felt bad about it immediately.
They're
I'm
not
like,
girls. It's like you calling the cast of fucking Predator. Look at these boys, and it's like
yeah,
no,
but I would say that like yeah, those boys. I was like I would be like those boys in that movie. It was like you know what I mean?
No,
but like,
tell me, would that not be weird if you called the fucking if Arnold Schwarzenegger? Oh, that's a good boy right there. Like what?
No, I feel like men refer to each other as that all the time, but like I'm hanging out with the boys.
Yeah, just like the women are like I'm hanging out with the girls, right? I understand that. What I'm saying is, but if you're referring to a set of people, and you wouldn't be like, look at those boys right there. Like it's kind of like a demeaning.
The Expendables 4 is coming out, right?
Yeah.
And like I looked at that movie trailer, I'm like, the boys are back. You know what I mean? They got the boys back together. You know, but like when I'm probably overthinking.
Yeah,
like no, I'm overthinking my comment. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the answer is yes. I would refer to a group of men as boys.
Okay.
No.
Let's get back to talking about the dog shit that is Charmed. I never miss an opportunity.
So I'm going to go back to it. Those girls were great together. I'll double down.
Here's what I'll say. There was no aspect of the show that was good. It wasn't acted particularly well. In fact, I don't even know why I say particularly well. It wasn't acted well at all. The storylines never made any fucking sense. They were not only repetitive, but also inherently stupid. The action scenes were all just really fucking watered down and just like, you know, somebody throws like a short little punch and then, you know, something else. Like it's all very just like, and this happens every fucking episode, and there's 8,000 episodes of it.
Did you hear this bullshit? Listen,
what do you mean bullshit?
Charmed and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. There's no difference
I have to call
between
bullshit
the shows.
on that one. They're completely different.
Fuck
man.
no. What's so different about Charmed and there is Sarah Michelle Gellar beating up vampires?
But here's the thing though, man. You haven't watched
vampires with enhanced strength and speed
you haven't
and awareness.
watched though, man. You haven't watched Buffy.
I've watched both of the shows.
Well, you just said you didn't watch Buffy.
I've watched
Oren.
most
you watched
of
2
Buffy.
episodes.
Oren,
Yeah.
look me in my eyes. Hold on. Look me in my eyes.
Yep.
You're going to make the assertion.
Yep.
You're making the proclamation that
I'm not saying Charmed was better. I'm saying
that
neither one of the shows were very good at all, and neither one was really better than the other one.
But the thing that I'm taking issue with is that you're saying they were basically like on par with each other. That's what you're saying?
For the most part, yes.
Oh, this is the last episode of the podcast, guys. I'm sorry, we have to end the podcast.
If I have to rewatch one of them,
the last episode.
I'm probably going to rewatch Charmed, honestly, because I think it just has a better cast.
I'm sorry, did you say you would rewatch Charmed before you watched Buffy?
Probably.
You're actually crazy.
I think Charmed was a more like interesting story. And
How? In what way?
These girls they're working with angels. They're on payroll with God. They're fighting demons too. That whole vampire shit kind of gets old. These ones are fighting like demons gone or aliens gone or not aliens. Demons and angels gone rogue.
I can't.
The cast is better.
My brain can't handle.
You got Shannon Doherty, the mess that she was.
First of all, she was in like 3 seasons, and it's 12 seasons.
And then you got Alyssa Milano, love of Melissa Milano, America's sweetheart, Melissa Milano.
Who the fuck has ever called
nobody?
Melissa Milano America's sweetheart?
Not one person ever. I just think it had a better cast. If I look back at those shows,
it had a better cast.
Yeah, if I look back at those 2 shows,
or just 3 women that you want to look
Charmed
at
more.
Yeah, because you just want to stare at the women all day.
No, they're all the same.
Now, how are they all the same?
There's no ass in any of these shows. Come on now.
I can't.
Addy, just low-rise jeans.
Addy,
it always comes back to physical appearance with you, man, and female-led casts.
I can't do it.
Like, who cares about that, man?
Everybody.
I can't.
No, you.
I can't do it, dude.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly disagree, man.
You made the. I can't comprehend what you're saying right now. My brain won't allow.
I'm still trying to comprehend that you rewatched Buffy the Vampire Slayer to begin with.
Okay, all right. Let me ask you this: what is the scariest episode you saw in Charmed? Which I will tell you the answer right now is none of them. That's the answer. There isn't one.
That's the correct.
Yeah, I wouldn't say. I mean, I would say there's some like really good episodes, but I would say like
exactly.
I was ever like, oh my god.
But that's the thing. You get that in Buffy. You get the suspense. You get the scary factor. You get everything that Charm gives you. You get the relationships, you get the different kind of dynamics between characters, but then you also get story. You also get again, suspense, man. That was huge for me. Like watching that, I watched
Fellas,
Charmed. I'm like,
listen.
okay, this is 4 women on TV.
Both shows were not very good. Neither one was better than the other.
No, one was way better than the other.
I go the Charmed route
you may
because
not-
I like the cast better
you
than
may
just
not like-
the show led by Sarah Michelle Gellar.
You may not like Buffy, but there's no doubt that there's a lot of people who fucking love Buffy. Like there are
a lot of people who love Charmed.
Yeah, I mean, this is America. You can, I guess, do what you want.
I mean,
Everybody's entitled to their own shit.
I wonder
guess.
what they would be ranked on, like a list of like, fucking supernatural. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no. Here's the thing. I think you're right, but it's something that I don't understand. It's Charmed is such a stupid show that I literally I can't. And one of the reasons why I can kind of confirm this, in that I'm not being biased, is because
You think you're not being biased?
No, listen.
This is the definition of bias. What you're saying here.
Let me finish what
Go
I'm
ahead.
saying first. So I kind of watched them not at the same time, but I watched Charmed like a little bit, right? And I just was like, the story seems kind of like light. It seems like we're light on like actual storytelling here.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, I just didn't. I
At
didn't
what
really
age
fuck
was
with it.
this?
This is like somewhere like teen years, like maybe 13, 14.
So you're
maybe.
13 or 14. You're just like, you know what? I really enjoy the character development here, the storytelling,
I had
the rich Shut the fuck up. You were just
let me tell you.
You just had a preferential bias at that point in time to one show, and that bias has stayed with you.
Let me finish saying. I couldn't articulate it. I just knew that when I watched an episode, I was like, "This is stupid. I'm watching something else." That's what I defined.
Sure,
it
yeah,
as,
that's
right?
what it comes. You were 13 or 14. You decided, hey,
That's
I
what I'm-
like this and I don't like that.
That's what I'm trying to. Let me finish what the fuck I'm trying to tell you. So I that's why I felt about Charm when I was younger, right? But when I got older, and I remember every morning on TNT they used to show this, and the reason why I know that is because every day I would get like ready for work, I would just have, because I stopped watching the news in the morning, but I would like to have something on in the background. So and I loved, and I'm not even going to enter the actual show Supernatural into this because that's a whole another can of worms, but. After Supernatural, they would show episodes of Charmed, and it inspired me to be like, you know what? Maybe I never gave the show like an actual like try, right? So I started watching it, and I swear to God, like after like I must have been like maybe 2, maybe even call it 3 seasons in, I was just like I feel like I'm less of a human being for like watching this. Like I feel.
Thank you for telling us the
Yeah.
long version of your experience with Charmed.
Yeah.
What I'm telling you is that
Yeah.
I don't think either one of these shows is definitively better than the other.
Yeah, what you're saying right now, it blows my mind, but I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree. Like I just,
You know what?
It's defies.
Let me give a little bit of
Weigh in, Addy. Be the icebreaker.
Let me weigh
Or the
in
tiebreaker.
from IMDb. Because IMDb, most people will go to it, see what the ratings are. You
Fair
have the
enough.
IMDb rating of the actual,
But who looks at IMDb ratings?
So IMDb should tell you the IMDb rating and Rotten Tomatoes, or like another rating as well.
I mean, Tunde, you go ahead and pull up the, if you don't mind, because I want to let him know what
of
IMDb
both
supernatural dramas.
Just
What I did was IMDb top supernatural dramas of all time.
All right, give us the list.
Number 1, What We Do in the Shadows, ranked the highest,
Really?
8.6.
Really?
Supernatural ranked on here twice for some reason, second and third. Not sure why. Fantastic.
Sketchy.
Ash versus Evil Dead. That's the 4th. Buffy the Vampire Slayer 5th. Do you know where Charmed comes in?
17.
Guess again.
24.
Guess again.
What number are we doing?
We're at 42.
It's at 42?
42 out of 50. 7.1 rating.
How many?
I mean, look.
How many votes?
Look.
How many votes?
How many votes?
Yeah.
I mean, 87,000.
Because this could be. And so, which one has 87,000 votes?
Charmed.
And then how much does Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer has 152,000 votes.
What's the sample size?
Oh my god.
Yo, come on.
I'm kidding.
Dude,
kidding.
when-
Sure, listen, I'm not going to argue that, right? Like, that's what IMDb has, and you can show me another list. I just remember from my experience watching both of these shows, like, in their heyday, like, the best early episodes, whatever, I lean more towards Charmed. If I'm gonna have to pick
What was
one
your
to
favorite
rewatch now-
storyline from Charmed?
The fuck? I don't remember that. You remember your favorite storyline from Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Because you've like
I can actually tell you the storylines from Charmed too.
you've watched these shows several times over, right?
I haven't. I watched Charmed precisely like in terms of like chronologically, like not all the way through, but
How many times all the way through do you think you've watched Charmed?
One time. That's all I needed. I can't do anymore.
And you've watched Buffy the Vampire several times, so of course you're going to know those storylines. And
I'm telling you, I know the storylines of Charmed too.
The entire thing. You have great memory. I'm not going to say I fucking remember the entire storyline.
Wait. So if you watch a show, you're telling. No, it's not insulting.
I don't remember the entire storyline of Breaking Bad, like throughout, like all the storylines throughout all the seasons. I remember like the one focal storyline, which is fucking what's his name's relationship with Jesse, Walter's relationship with Jesse, and his relationship with his family, and his brother-in-law, and like those like larger stories. But like throughout the course of the story, there's so many smaller storylines that like lead to the next thing.
No, I'm saying even like a big storyline. Like I'm like even.
What would you say was the big storyline in Charmed?
In Charmed, probably the biggest one was the whole Cole situation, where Cole was dating. Is it not Phoebe? Who's Alyssa Milano's character's name?
I do not fucking remember.
Phoebe, Paige, Piper. Pecker.
Yeah, something like that. They all had
whatever
her
fucking name is. Right. So that was probably one of the major storylines. Another major storyline.
That's just a relationship, not a storyline.
No, it literally took up like 5 seasons.
Yeah, because like they were like falling in love, and then he was like an angel who was not supposed to intervene in human shit.
He was a demon.
He was a demon. Yeah. He wasn't supposed to be so intertwined with them, but they were falling in love, and he was gonna like become a human or something like that.
Of the underworld.
Yeah,
yada yada. Another one was so Piper. I think Piper's the older sister. I think that's who that was. Her basically it was like a kind of like a John Connor situation where her and Leo, I think was her husband's name, who was the angel, their son, or both of their sons were supposed to be like pivotal roles in like the ending of the world or some apocalyptic whatever. So that took up a lot of storylines. That was not necessarily like the earlier seasons, but in more of
that
like
was
the later seasons.
I think that's when Shannon Doherty was no longer on the show.
Correct.
They replaced her character.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're spending too much time talking about either one of these shows.
Yeah. No, I mean, I find this is a good conversation.
I will continue to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer with my partner whenever she puts it on. I always tell her like, "Hey,
What season are you guys on, by the way?
2, I think now.
Okay, probably the best season of the show.
Yeah, whenever she's watching it, I'll continue. I'll give it 1 or 2 episodes. Then we gotta switch to something else. I'll see.
What has been your favorite episode so far? I know you hate it all, but what was your best episode? None. Oh, come on. Come on.
None.
I'll tell you my favorite episode of Power.
So when I'm watching these shows, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm also doing other shit. Most of it is just like her learning her position, her skill set. Who to trust, who not to trust. Relationship building with the dude Giles or whatever. Doesn't he die? Giles. Yeah. It's just Buffy the Vampire Slayer, dude. Low-rise jeans, terrible fashion, no
I'm gonna make one comment here. All right, the editorial board from Rotten Tomatoes, right? They rank the best and worst witches TV shows because that's Charmed. It's a witch show. All right, they ranked the remake of Charmed higher than the original Charmed.
Holy shit.
These rankings, though. I mean, like, like I like them. I like to pull them up, but only so I can form my own list in my head. Because like, it's hard for me to trust anyone's ranking. It's usually just opinion based, or they just put out a poll there. But it all really depends on where you put out the poll, like what platform you put the poll on, right, and like how many votes you get or whatever. And then sometimes it's just someone's opinion, like, hey, here are mine's based off of other polls that I've read.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like everybody should have their own opinions about whatever shows or, and I think that's like a main tenet of this podcast is like, just watch the shit. Watch it. Yeah. Judge for yourself. Don't listen to anybody else's take on whatever. You go watch the shit and then form your own opinion about it because art is subjective, right? So it doesn't fucking matter what anybody else says. If you like the shit, you like the shit. Like, so for instance, for so long I was so embarrassed to say that like Fifth Element was my favorite movie because it's like such a fucking weird movie that it's hard to sometimes communicate that to people because it's like it's a weird movie.
Yeah.
But then when
I'll say that proudly. It was a great movie.
I remember I was like, this is like way back when, but I was taking like a film course, and we were all going around like, okay, well, what's like your favorite movie or whatever? And it came to me, and I was like, what's the Fifth Element? And everybody was like, yeah, fucking movie knocks, and I was like, shit.
What was everybody in there like pretentious and be like, oh, Gone with the Wind?
No. I thought that I thought that's how it would be because it's like a film.
When Harry Met Sally, like shut the fuck up.
I mean, it's a good movie, no doubt.
Movie, but get the fuck out of here.
And also, I don't dog people who like that is their favorite movie because some people like I might think somebody's pretentious for that, but I think in reality, it's just like we have different relationships with movies, right? Like, so they might watch When Harry Met Sally, or they might watch a Citizen Kane, God forbid. Although if anybody says Citizen Kane is my favorite movie, I think I'm definitely looking at them very skeptically.
But we're not going back to your house. I'm never gonna fucking come over for some beers
when it's 3 a.m. Yes. You're not gonna stay up and you walk in the room and it's her brothers and she's like, you're cool with that, but as soon as she starts saying Citizen Kane is my favorite
watching
movie,
Citizen Kane when you come in.
Oh no,
let me fuck you in the car.
I gotta go. I gotta go. So everybody's shit is different.
Wait, Addy, while we do this, pull up a list really quick if you can of like the top 10 movies that people are like judged on the most, right? Or if you tell someone this, people are automatically like, oh, how do you like that thing? I feel like
that can be any terrible or
I just want like a list of like 10.
What is your idea of a movie that you'd be like, oh, people think I'm terrible for watching this?
Like if you like Legally Blonde.
No, I think that there's a.
I'm just like, you probably also like.
You're judging people for that.
Yeah, I'm probably all like, you probably also like listen to Taylor Swift music.
Really, Legally Blonde?
Yeah, I'm just like,
because I feel like Legally Blonde is like kind of tongue in cheek, making fun of, like it's like a parody of.
For sure, yeah, it definitely is a bit of a parody of like that like stereotype, right? That like these blonde prissy girls, but then in the end it's like we're not as dumb as you think we are.
Right.
I got a list here for you.
Yeah.
This is from whatculture.com. So the number 10 movie that you will be judged on, Wanted, the Angelina Jolie movie.
Really?
According to them.
And you like that? I know you like that movie. So.
No, so I'm not surprised that because if somebody told me that was their favorite movie of all time, I too would be like, the
would
fuck?
you?
Yeah, because like I like that movie and I could look at it and be like, but it's not my favorite. So if it's your favorite, there's something wrong here.
All right.
What's
the next movie?
Number 9 is the 1993 erotic thriller Sliver.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever watched that. Sliver.
I have seen it, and it was not good at all.
Yeah, it was bad.
Number 8, Memories of a Murder.
Right, you're just gonna say a bunch of movies.
That's an Asian movie from 2003. It looks like.
What country?
What's next?
What Asian country?
South Korea.
Ferris
Ferris Bueller's Day Off is number 7.
What is number 7?
Ferris Bueller's
Ferris
Day Off.
Bueller's Day Off.
If you say you
like that movie, people are gonna judge you. If you say it's your favorite,
everybody fucking loves Ferris Bueller.
But if you say it's your favorite movie, I'm gonna be like that's it. Like Ferris Bueller's Day Off is your favorite movie.
Why would you judge somebody for liking
you must work too hard. Like you probably are like a public defender and you're just working your brains out and you're just like, here's a movie about someone living my dream.
Ferris Bueller?
Many times I've seen this movie.
Then what's wrong with calling it?
There's nothing wrong with the movie. If you say it's your favorite movie of all time,
I'm starting to call bullshit on this. Hold on,
Addy. If someone tells you Ferris Bueller's Day Off is their favorite movie,
I'm gonna just think that
you're just a little bit dense.
Arain, you just told me that if you could take one show with you on a deserted island, and this is the only show you could ever watch, you'd say you would watch Power.
I gave you 5 reasons why.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, yeah, your reasons are
you
irrelevant.
You can't give me any reasons. Ferris Bueller. It was a good cast, funny little story.
Great coming of age story, yeah.
Yeah, the
good
kid,
love story.
The car, the crazy principal who was trying to break into his house.
Yeah,
but no way that's your favorite.
Wait, how did the reasons?
No, I could see it being a person's favorite movie,
but
like one of the best comedies or something like that. I would think maybe you're not like cultured enough in movies, If
you say if it's your favorite movie, I'm not going to look at you like you're crazy. Like that seems like a wild thing.
Oh look, I don't know about this list either because like the next movie, number 6, is one of my all-time favorite movies. God Bless America. You guys ever seen that with Joel Murray, where he basically goes on a killing rampage because he hates the way society is, and he takes this little teenage girl with him who just like hates everybody too?
No.
It's a great commentary on today's culture, and this was from like 2008 or something like that. I can't remember what year it was.
Is when it came out.
Yeah. Number 5, Resolution.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of movies I've never seen.
Yeah, I've never heard.
Yeah,
of
I don't know.
Give me
about,
one more that's like that we know.
It goes by page, so I gotta click next on each one. Number 4 is Funny Games. Never seen that one.
Yep, never.
The Wolf of Wall Street, the original.
Never watched it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I've never seen that one. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know about that one either. God's Not Dead. Yeah, sure, I can agree with that one. That's number 2.
Wait, that sounds familiar. God's Not Dead.
It's
like
terrible.
Turner and Hooch. As much as I love that movie, but you know what? For me, it's about movies that I've seen, and I know that like, hey, you know what? That's not a bad movie. But if it's your favorite movie,
wait, why?
That's kind of odd.
Okay, so what movie?
It's like
Well, let me
somebody
finish
says
it off.
Chicken
Number 1
Alfredo's
is
my favorite dinner.
Number 1 is Stardust Memories, the Woody Allen movie, the 1980s movie. I thought it was okay.
Never watched it.
Really?
Yeah. Stardust Memories? No, never
Yeah.
watched it.
Like,
okay.
imagine someone saying, "What's your favorite cereal?" and they're like, "Cornflakes." You're like,
Wait,
you know
why?
what?
No, but that's it's for one, that's subjective too, right? Because you could just really like fucking
Sure,
cornflakes.
it's all subjective, right?
Yeah.
But I could be like, of all the cereals in the world, cornflakes is your favorite cereal, the one with like the least amount of anything.
So you need high fructose corn syrup in your cereals.
If I'm gonna do it, let it at least be one of the good ones.
Yeah, but to them, it's good.
It's like you're not gonna go Cinnamon Toast Crunch or Golden Grams or like even Honey Nut Cheerios. Still on the healthier side, but at least it's Honey Nut. The bee is the bee.
Yeah, you need
is
the
cooler
fructose.
than the bird.
Yeah, you need the high fructose.
So like with the movie or show, it's like I've seen it. I know it's good. Cornflakes is good, but like that's it.
I think I'm struggling with where your approach is. Like, so for instance, like you're saying movies that I know people actually like. Like, so for instance, when we got to Ferris Bueller's, it's like, yeah, like who, like I'm sure there are people who are like, yes, this is my favorite movie of all time. Especially like a movie that harkens back to like nostalgia, right? Like Ferris Bueller was a fucking wave. You know what I mean? In terms of like that whole fucking. Who's the guy who used to make all those fucking movies? Who made like The Breakfast Club? John. What the fuck is his name?
I know you're talking about. I see his face.
It's
don't know
John Hughes.
John Hughes. Yes, all these like John Hughes. God damn, what is that?
Why couldn't we think of that name?
I don't know. All these like John Hughes movies, right? Like it's all a fucking wave, and I don't even think he directed. I forget who directed Ferris Bueller, but it's just like it's a thing. It's a time period, right? So if somebody's like, yeah, I fucking Ferris Bueller's is like my one fucking movie that I just love, and that I would take with me to this desert island. Then I'd be like, all right, cool, like because I get it, like
Sure,
you know what I mean?
I get it too. I like Ferris Bueller too.
This guy.
What I'm telling you is, for that to be someone's like, this is my greatest movie of all time, I think that's like a very interesting person.
We're not saying it's what they believe to be the greatest movie of all time. It's their favorite movie of all time.
Sure, whatever you want to call it, their favorite. I would still be like,
I still don't understand where you're coming from though.
Is in the same way that if someone says my favorite cereal is cornflakes, I'd be like, okay, that's
Ferris
or
Bueller
my dream car is a Honda Civic. I'd be like, you know what, Honda Civic, great car,
Wait,
very reliable.
So
but
if Ferris Bueller is cornflakes in a Honda Civic, then what do you consider to be Cinnamon Toast Crunch? What's a movie would be like appropriate?
That's a good question. A Cinnamon Toast Crunch movie in
All 8 seasons
like Pulp
of Charmed.
Fiction might be Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Okay, really, like, so Pulp Fiction is Cinnamon Toast Crunch compared to a Ferris Bueller that is...
Because Pulp Fiction was edgy. It was like a lot happened in this movie.
Who sounds like the pretentious film student in film class?
So you don't agree?
No, actually, I kind of hate Quentin Tarantino.
Pulp Fiction
movies,
had
if
like...
I'm being fucking honest with you.
Really?
I
you
fucking
hate Quentin Tarantino?
You know why? Because I feel like Quentin Tarantino... he's a great director, and again, I'm not trying to sit here and dog people because they've accomplished so much shit, and it's who the fuck am I to be sitting here in this fucking the mics give an echo, the fucking I can't get the graphics to work properly on this. So who the fuck am I to really be like,
yeah,
you're shitty, right? But as I've watched Quentin Tarantino movies, and as people persist in telling me, no, he's one of the greatest directors of all time, everything he does is fucking great. Blah, blah. As soon as they're about to nut themselves from talking about Quentin Tarantino, I watch his movies, and all I can really take away from it is, man, he really likes to say fucking the word nigger like a lot.
Like for sure. Lot. Absolutely.
The basic thing that like. But if you ask
all of his movies have like a racist undertone to it.
Like I was watching like a clip. I never watched Django, but I watched like a clip from it, and it's like, first off, I didn't even know he was in the movie, but then as soon as you see him on screen, he's just fucking he's just racist. Like it's just like,
now,
what the fuck?
I would say there's a reason why, like, you know, Samuel L. Jackson loves working with him, 'cause he's like, you know, but we're not going to dive into that. It's like, just looking at the movie itself, I think Pulp Fiction was at a really it was a really interesting film with like really great acting and multiple storylines.
College student,
but like this is not even about that. It's like, I think everybody agrees that Pulp Fiction is on like the top 25 list of all time. You don't think so? Not you then. Okay. Most of us do.
Most of us pretentious college students.
In that vein, I think if I'm going to compare Pulp Fiction to a story, something that's a little bit edgy, a little bit different, a little bit wacky, a lot of violence, and like sometimes it's like really like sugary, and you're getting all the Tarantino shit you like, but it's also like still a very different cereal than like most other things. It would be Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Okay, give me one other movie that you would consider to be Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
That's tough. I'm on the spot. Let me give you another movie and another cereal, and maybe you can follow my pattern here.
Sure.
So we've got Remember the Titans. Mm-hmm. I would say Remember the Titans is like Raisin Bran Crunch. It's not Raisin Bran.
What is your metrics again for like why?
It is the type of story that's being told, right? Like Pulp Fiction and Remember the Titans, they were like very different types of film, right? Very different categories, different genres. So you can't go same type of cereal here. You got to go different cereal type.
Yeah, but what makes Pulp Fiction Cinnamon Toast Crunch? What makes
because Pulp Fiction was like edgy and wacky and a little bit different, you know, cinnamony and sweet.
Toast Crunch is edgy.
It's not like Frosted Flakes. Oh, it's not like Corn Flakes. There's a little bit more to it.
Okay, I feel like your analogy.
I'm gonna just point out that the American Film Institute, out of the 100 greatest movies of all time, Pulp Fiction is 95.
At least it's on there.
It's on the list.
Wait, where's Ferris Bueller then in that case?
Oh boy,
is it even on there?
Ferris Bueller is not on the list.
Not on the list.
Fair enough.
A little bit more edgy.
I don't know. I think out of all the movies that I could point to and be like, I'd be like questioning you if you said that this was my favorite movie. Ferris Bueller is not one of those movies that I would even think of to be like, oh, that's questionable. I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's cool. You know,
you love this Sunday though.
Would you have
number one?
Yeah, number one
all time. Citizen Kane.
Oh, well, naturally, of course.
I mean, I'm not surprised by that.
Pretentious college kids.
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah.
But
number two, Casablanca, and The Godfather, number three.
Yeah.
That's good.
Here's how you judge something, whether it's like really good or not, right?
Mic? It's on your mic.
It's a bug. I'm not worried about it. Just as long as it doesn't fly in my mouth.
It's looking like it's trying to make that leap. It's on the front side, like right here.
Nah, fuck it.
No, like right there.
You know what the metric is kind of should be too? Like if you have somebody over, right? Like a chick, you know, you're on a little, you know, stay at home dinner date.
Yeah.
And you're watching a movie. Would you put on Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Probably, yeah.
And do you expect to clap cheeks with that movie on?
Yeah, why not? At the end of the day, Ferris basically claps cheeks at the end of the day.
Does he though?
In 80s movies fashion, essentially.
Is there like he's probably going to, and then basically, the movie ends?
Yeah.
But we don't actually know if he did.
But it's pretty implied that he does.
Nah, she could have just left. She could have said no. We don't know that. But there was clapping cheeks in Pulp Fiction. And if I have a date over, I'm going to put on Pulp Fiction over Ferris Bueller's Day On. One is a better movie.
Whose cheeks were being clapped?
Ving Rhames. Somebody.
I don't think that's the type of cheek clapping that she would find to be arousing.
Yeah, I don't care who it is. It's any visual.
And that is not a pretty visual.
Yeah, you would clearly put on one movie over the other. You're not gonna have Shorty come over here.
Wait. So you're truly like in all. If you're being serious with me for a sec, you would put on Pulp Fiction before you put on Ferris Bueller if you had a date over Just nice chill. You got some maybe vino or some shit like that you're sipping on.
Vino?
Yeah. Or whatever, red, whatever the fucking
Malbec.
wine, whatever
Yeah,
whatever
we'll go with
you
Malbec.
fucking pretentious
Sauvignon
college
Blanc or Malbec.
film
Come on now, we're not
students
children. We're drinking
watch
vino.
or drink. All right, fine. You have a Malbec for sure. And you're telling me instead of Ferris Bueller, which is like a feel-good, light kind of like comedic movie, you're watching Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, bro, you're not clapping cheeks if you've got Ferris Bueller's Day on.
You're clapping cheeks if you're watching Pulp Fiction?
More than likely.
Yo, you're crazy.
There's a higher higher probability.
We should end the fucking podcast. Right now. This is the
We're
done.
There's a higher, violence and there's all the emotion, high speed chases, shootouts, guns.
Sure. Go try that. Have you tried that?
Probably.
No.
This has probably been done before
Go try.
in my timeline.
Go in my timeline. This is multiverse.
There's a timeline where I've clapped cheeks watching Pulp Fiction. I know it's happened. I choose to believe it.
I want you to go try that with your person of choice. And
You know
let's
what
see how
also is
that
another
fucking-
movie?
I want you to report
Troy with
that I can even see. Sure, I can see Troy. I
for
wouldn't
100 best movies of all
I wouldn't
time, or like
no for clapping cheeks.
Clapping
But
cheeks
100
probability.
best movies of all time. No, I don't think we're going.
Fifth Element is one. You can definitely clap some cheeks. Fifth Element.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand Pulp Fiction. That seems a bit heavy.
Citizen
for
Kane, not
clapping
clapping cheeks. Citizen Kane.
No, everybody's asleep.
Yeah.
Everybody's asleep.
Yeah.
By the end of like 20 minutes, everybody's asleep immediately
Yeah.
with Citizen Kane. What's in like an old movie though that is like you're definitely clapping something.
Scarface.
Like that.
You're gonna clap cheeks to Scarface. It's so much fun and drugs and cocaine and a little bit of violence. The movie's 3 hours long. If you don't clap cheeks,
Yeah, I would argue it's too long.
you don't.
to clap
That's
cheeks.
that's you can clap cheeks and then come back and then catch the end of the movie.
During the intermission, like
That's
you know how it has the
Yeah.
intermission in
Yeah.
like the middle of it. Is
That's
like
how long
you
the movie is.
Okay, I got you. Okay, all right, fair enough. One of the movie that I kind of feeling like is the movie that I would tell somebody like I don't know I just fucking love this movie outside of The Fifth Element is The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I feel like it's a really stupid movie, and yet I love it. I don't know what else to tell you. It's embarrassing.
Running Man.
Yeah. I might clap because he claps or he didn't clap at the end. But
I feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger movies are like mostly action, right? He tried like there are some movies where there's like, hey, there's supposed to be more storytelling here. Like what is it? The fifth. He has a movie called The Sixth.
The Sixth Day.
The Sixth Day. Isn't there like is that the one where he got cloned? He kept getting cloned.
I believe so. Yeah.
Right. There's another movie that he did. It was supposed to be a more thoughtful movie where his like daughter died in an airplane. Maybe that was a little bit later on.
Died in an airplane.
But then you've got my favorites are like, I like Kindergarten Cop. I like
Classic.
The Action Hero.
Blanger. Blanger. I don't know.
It was The Last Action Hero.
Yeah, everybody kind of dogs that movie. It's an amazing movie.
It is what it pretends to. It's not even pretending to be.
Yeah, it's like literally
it is,
making fun of itself.
Yeah, it is like a very meta movie, and no one.
One of the first ones that I think I've ever watched. One of the first like meta movies that I think I really.
I would
remember
say, Who Killed Roger Rabbit?
I don't remember that at all.
What?
No, I remember it, but
Yeah.
I don't remember
Because it was like real. It was like toon animation and like live action.
Yeah,
and
it was with
like
what's his
silly.
name? Who's that guy? The guy who's in Bullworth? Warren Beatty?
Probably
He was in Roger Rabbit, right?
Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to see his face.
Don't you remember the movie?
Yeah, I don't. I just remember like
Pull it up.
the
Oh yeah, on your not working
laptop
computer,
said.
Yeah.
Also,
Wait, were you talking about the newer movie Aftermath with Schwarzenegger? It was like 2017.
Yeah.
It was a newer movie, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that wasn't good at all.
No, anything he's
Yeah,
come out with
but, like,
in this,
Hey, you're gonna clap cheeks to that?
No. What I was saying was that like
clapping his own cheeks to that.
Oh my god.
right, it's called masturbation. No, I was saying that like there's some Schwarzenegger movies that like he tries to like I'm really acting here. I'm telling this great story. It's emotion, it's drama, there's a little bit of action.
I'm sorry, that was just worth it. Just coming down here, sitting in this hot ass studio, just hearing that.
There are those movies. There are those Schwarzenegger movies. Then there are the ones where he's like, "Listen, I'm." That's what the meeting sounded like.
Stuck to it. Listen.
The pitch is just listen. We're going to shoot up a lot of people. A lot of bodies are going to drop. I'm going to look very cool doing this. Audience is going to love it. It's going to sell. That's how Vin Diesel and The Rock pitch their movies. Listen.
Yeah, the Rock's on a decline, but we got to wrap this shit up. You guys got to go. I got some shit I got to prepare for. We got to get this has been a fucking dope-ass episode. It's been fun. I still don't understand where you're coming from at all with Charmed, with Ferris Bueller.
Neither do I.
You have some hot takes that are just too hot for TV. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and close it out here. To close it out, quickly, let's all go do a round table here. What is the movie that if you had to show somebody that represented you, what's that movie? What's the movie that you're like, if you want to know who I am as a person, this is the thing you should watch?
All right. I'm going to throw this on somebody else. Addy, you go first.
Oh, man. Put me on the spot.
Yeah, no. I was on the spot. I had to put somebody else. I had to delegate.
To represent me, the low-budget supernatural sci-fi thriller, The Faculty.
Really? Interesting.
Yes.
Why The Faculty?
Absolutely. Shoot, sorry, I muted myself. Yeah, man, in that movie, every single one of those characters, I felt I was at one point in my middle school and high school career, from the geeky kid to the smart kid to the jockey kid, and then just all kind of blending together. That'd be me, man.
That's really.
And I always thought that all my teachers were fucking aliens. So
I mean, basically they are.
Yeah.
Still thinking.
No, I got mine, but it's not like a surprise. I would also say like one of the characters, like one of the guys from The Wood. I'm just not really sure which one.
Okay.
Right? Like I feel like the reason why people like this film so much, right? Or like any of these movies with these like ensemble casts that have like each character has its own storyline, like Ocean 13, right? You could watch that movie, but which one of these guys would I be, right? Yeah. If I were a part of this heist group. I think The Wood for me would be that movie, and I'm not sure which character quite yet. It might be not because Maurice Chestnut wasn't in The Woods, and I'm sorry, I should know. I should know who this.
Taye Diggs.
So Taye Diggs was in there. Omar Epps was in there.
I don't know who the tall guy is.
Yeah, who's the tall guy? I feel like my storyline would maybe be like more his storyline, or it might just be Taye Diggs' character.
Let's see.
Who almost ruins his own wedding.
T. Jones is that guy.
I feel like I'd be one of those guys.
Interesting. I feel like for me, it would be Raging Bull.
De Niro?
Yeah. That would be probably the movie that I'd be like, if you want to understand me as a person, that's probably the best movie to watch.
Because you get knocked down, you get back up?
No, it's because you live with deep regret and you don't understand why the fuck you do the things you do or how you ended up in the place you ended up, even though you try to not end up in that place. Somehow you still end up there. Like the scene that really just broke my heart at the end or towards the end is when he's like in jail and he's just like punching the wall, like, you son of a bitch, and he's just like punching the wall, and I was like, that hit me a little different than that was probably one of the most powerful scenes that I saw that like I identified with, of just like somebody who just was really not understanding why things had ended up the way that they did and felt like it feels almost like inevitable.
That thunder came in at the perfect time.
As dramatic
as Tunde tells this dark, somber story. Cue the thunder.
Holy shit.
Divine intervention.
I suppose so. On that note, I guess we'll get the fuck out of here, man. We'll call it a show.
I really hope we got that audio crystal clear.
I think we did. Yeah. So per usual, I think we'll hit the usual protocol.
Fade out.
Peace the fuck out, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your weeks.